My name is Pasang Sharpa. I am the interim program manager for the Iranian Studies program. It's truly been a pleasure working with Iranian Studies program in the past and also right now. I would love to welcome our guests, Nima Naimi, Alireza Sanayei, and Julian Gigola for joining us today to discuss their documentary titled Immigrant Stories, Iranian-Americans of Silicon Valley. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to all our audience members joining us from different parts of the globe today. Nima, Ali, and Julian would like to present a brief introduction about their film, and we'll then proceed with our discussion followed by a Q&A session. The Q&A session is open to all of our audience members, so please feel free to submit your questions through the Q&A window, which is located at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So without further ado, I pass it to the three wonderful directors.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sherpa. I'm Nima Naimi.
I'm Alireza Sanayei.
I'm Julian.
And basically, as Dr. Milani said, we, really wanted to make this come through as a story about Iranians that just it's very true to who we are as people, as opposed to what a lot of mainstream media and how just we've been kind of represented as a culture, in the past. It seems like there was always a void that I felt growing up as a child of immigrants and many Iranians and immigrants in general, especially who their countries of origin didn't really have the best relationship with the US. I think we feel like us as the people have to be the voice for our culture, and especially to kind of champion and to just talk about, just to share and create a dialogue about just the amazing people and stories and accomplishments that they've made and the impacts they've made on our society. In every field you can possibly think of, there is some Iranian, and immigrants who are just kind of, spearheading and just, really being a big part of our American society today. And that's what we wanted to do. We didn't want to come with any political agendas or any angles or anything like that to try to defend ourselves or anything like that. We just wanted to tell these people's stories for what they were, which is really a underdog story in most cases, that these people came here with nothing. During various times, a lot of people came during and after the Iranian Revolution, which was a big time of crisis for us, and the hostage crisis that was going around. A lot of these people were college students at the time, during those times, and they didn't get a fair share because of what was going on that was outside of their control, really. And they still persisted, and they still really just kind of kept that feeling that this country was built on immigration, and it gives anybody who has the merit and the work ethic and just the dream and the drive to make something for themselves, they can accomplish that. And I think that's really what this documentary shows, is how many people from various backgrounds, various different age groups and professional fields, how they can make it for themselves. And really, some of them were the first, in their fields, and pioneers in inventions and just various different accomplishments. So it's just a testament to all those people and all the people who their voices aren't heard, all the Iranians and all those little pockets and cities in America and all over the world, and all immigrants. This is a celebration of all of that, and how we really appreciate what America has done for everyone here.
Ali, would you like to add on? Julian, would you like to add on?
I think he said it perfectly. So.
Tried to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to know, how did you come out about the film? Like what got you started?
I mean, is basically a lifelong journey that brought me and Ali and Julian to kind of come up with the concept for this film. My parents they are Iranian immigrants, and they came here during the revolution, which was a very tough time. And, it's very inherent in our culture because we're so, rich, and we have such a big history that goes way back, and also a history of openness and kind of civility. In our film, we talk about the Iranian Empire creating one of the first documentations of human rights, which was unheard of back then. There was a lot of slavery and these things, but even in those times, we had the kind of moral compass that told us that everybody's human, everybody deserves a shot, and that wasn't even it wasn't even kind of inherited by other civilizations for a long time. And now, living in modern days, we pretty much have those principles and base our governments and our systems off of the principles that were started by not only Iranian civilization, but many, many civilizations, that were modern and kind of progressive. And so, having parents as immigrants, I think every immigrant and descendant of immigrant can relate that our parents kind of, teach us from a young age that our culture is something to be proud of, and it's very rich. And so I grew up with a lot of pride about being Iranian. And, when you're a kid, you're not aware of the outside world yet and how, the outside world sees you or your culture. And so growing up, I realized that this enormous pride that I had and this kind of point of view that I had about Iranian people was so positive. And, especially growing up in Silicon Valley, I was, definitely introduced to, Dr. Milani. I've known him for, most of my life. And many people in the film I knew growing up, thanks to my dad and my mom, who, were a big part of this community here in Silicon Valley. And so I just had this need to kind of to share and to let people know, about Iranians and about, what we're doing around here. And, as I grew older, I basically saw that we weren't represented in the way that I was kind of raised to see us as. And everything, that was put in the news, not everything, but many things in the news and in media and pop culture and all these things didn't, really accurately portray us, what I thought, and so I kind of felt that it was an obligation, kind of like a duty to educate people, everywhere I went, people I'd meet, we'd tell them, that we are, Persian, we are Iranian-Americans, and we're proud of that. And, it's just it was more like a need to give out this message that is so kind of different than what people are used to seeing, out there every day. It seemed like a duty of mine and Ali and Julian to just really put this out there, and share these stories for what they are, just immigrant stories, underdog stories that people can relate to and really use as inspiration and motivation to follow their dreams, to, not listen to what the naysayers are saying, and to just kind of stay true to yourself. And, things will work out, as long as you just persist and really, work hard at it.
You guys did it beautifully. Like it's just so apparent, and I think anyone who's watched the documentary will feel likewise. So on to the next question. How did you choose the people you interviewed?
So like I said, I grew up knowing a lot of these people and hearing these amazing stories. As a child, it's really kind of, it really reinforces your belief in your people when you're seeing all these amazing kind of success stories, and not just success, but just people coming here and adapting, you know, to American culture, and creating these communities where, you know, we really feel like we are part of you know, American society, and we're contributing, not just, you know, living here, but we're giving back as much as we can. So, you know, we had a good number of people lined up from the beginning. We kind of knew who we wanted to interview, Dr. Milani being one of them. And we, you know, approached those people, and we kind of wanted to get a very diverse group. We wanted to get people who came here way before the revolution, like Dr. Randi and Majid Ghafqaichi, Dr. Najat, you know, the old school guys. And we wanted to get people who came before and after the revolution, and you know, up until the present day, you know, past 10, 15 years. And we wanted to get a, you know, mix of male and females, of course, and also students, of course, too. Yeah, and just get a basically a big pool of all these, you know, various professional fields that these people have been big parts of. We wanted to kind of just cover that and just, you know, show that to the audiences.
Thank you. Do you have plans to continue with the project? Like, you know, because there's so many more Iranian immigrant stories, right? Success stories that are yet to be documented. So are you guys planning on another project?
Yeah.
Right now, we're focusing on getting this film as much exposure as we can. Hopefully, if enough people enjoy the film and share it with one another, would eventually get it distributed through a popular streaming service. But we have some ideas on a next project that we want to work on, and but we'll see how this one goes, and we'll definitely keep you guys posted.
Yeah, we're taking it one step at a time. We kind of want to focus on getting as much buzz and exposure for this film as possible, and, you know, hopefully we'll get some distribution and get a larger audience for this. You know, so we do have some plans, you know, some ideas in mind, but right now we're kind of focusing on this one.
Good luck with that, because I definitely think you'll get, maybe a lot of calls will follow shortly.
We hope so.
Okay. Could you describe like how it was working together, like the three of you? Because usually, you know how there's only one director and co-directors, but in this case, you are like three of you, three authors.
Ali, you want to answer this one?
Yeah, I mean, from the start for the entire film, all three of us had different inputs, and like we edited, we shot it, we post-production, everything was done by three of us. So we thought it's only fair to give the credit where it's needed. Yeah. So it was fun.
we all pretty much played as a jack of all trades here, you know, and you know, from conception we all kind of sat down, brainstormed, you know, interview questions, really the narrative of the film, and how to kind of put all these different stories of all these people and have it kind of have a storyline, you know, a linear storyline, that you know, people could follow and not feel disconnected, you know. And as far as, you know, actually going out and shooting, you know, it was we were just, you know, constantly kind of doing a you know, just a kind of, I would say, like, just taking different roles, every single role from sound to, you know, lighting to filming to sitting down and interviewing, and then in the editing process we were all sitting there together the whole time, just, you know, editing the music, editing the coloring, everything, you know. So it was definitely just a joint effort from all three of us.
We filtered everything 3 times at least.
Yeah, everything was filtered through. It had to go through all of us, you know, to make the cut. So yeah, it was definitely a joint effort.
Wonderful. Like, I'm sure there were many challenges, right, that you faced when making the documentary, especially even with the COVID happening. You know, it must have stalled the production of the film. But can you name some of the other challenges that you faced?
Well, we gathered more than 90 hours of footage from everyone, filled with different stories, different experiences. One of our biggest challenges was narrowing down all these stories and who we want to actually put where in the film. So that was one of the biggest ones, aside from COVID, which was obviously was the biggest hit. So yeah.
COVID definitely added a lot of scheduling issues, and we couldn't even fly out to film most of the participants.
Yeah.
Yeah. We, we had a lot of people lined up. We weren't, at the beginning, we weren't planning to make this just about, Silicon Valley. We wanted to make this about Iranian-American immigrants all over. And COVID really dealt us a blow there with travel and everything. But I think we still managed to get a good, pool of people. And I think like Ali said, the big challenge was just taking all these. We interviewed actually probably about 30 Iranian-American immigrants, and just being able to condense that into this film was very difficult because there was a lot of stuff that we really liked, and really wanted to keep in there, and we were all kind of advocating and defending, using this or using that. But in the end, we had to kind of, make some executive decisions, and they were tough. It was tough to not include some of these people, because just sitting there and getting to know them, we felt that it was, our duty to kind of, share their stories too. And we plan on having some kind of a follow-up or some behind the scenes or something to show those people who weren't in the film. And also the colleagues of them. We interviewed a lot of non-Iranians as well, just to get their perspective and their ideas and stuff about their colleagues and about working with them and their experiences with them. So we plan to kind of put that all together and show that, to kind of add another layer to this film.
That's wonderful. Like you conducted, like you said, you conducted more interviews than what made it to the documentary, right? So like, what was something that struck out? Like what was the most striking thing that you found in these interviews?
I would say that really what was like a pattern that I saw with all these people is that just the perseverance and determination, and just the ability to kind of filter out all the things that were going on in their life, as far as those outside kind of influences that were just basically, to not to exaggerate it, but it was basically all negative. It was in general, overall, there was just this kind of this stigma and this aura about Iranians, especially during the hostage crisis and during those times where Hamid Moghadam says it, Afsaneh Mullah say it, that they had 50 to 60 or hundreds of rejection letters, and this was despite all the the merit that they had. They had PhDs from Stanford and MIT, and they were very accomplished people and go-getters, and they didn't let that kind of define them. They definitely had in the back of their minds, but the stronger kind of force was that they could make it, as long as they had the support too. There was definitely, for every person that spoke, there was somebody here when they got here that helped them out, and usually mostly non-Iranians. There was Iranians here too who were helping, but there were, several others who just took those people for who they were rather than where they came from, and gave them a shot. And that's all they needed, was just a shot to show what they can do, and that's something that everybody, I think, in the film had.
Yeah, that stood out to me too, because I think there was, in particular, one of the interviewees, he mentioned saying, we as immigrants should allow other immigrants the same opportunities we received, right? So it's almost like giving back.
Yeah.
And so the other question I had was, have you, like any one of you, have you worked with any other like non-Iranian diaspora?
In the film?
In the film, yeah, I think you mentioned earlier, right? Like you
Yeah.
with non-Iranian
Yeah.
people?
Yeah.
We interviewed each of our interviewees. We interviewed their colleagues, their friends, people they work with, for research purposes, and like just learning more about them. So I would say, yeah, definitely. But this one, because of our network, it was mostly Iranian-Americans. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we went out kind of wanting to get a very, large kind of general consensus. We didn't want to just keep this like Iranians talking about Iranians. We wanted to get non-Iranians talking about these Iranians, because the film is about Iranians. But we went out and we interviewed co-founders of the companies. We interviewed employees, colleagues, all these people, and they all had amazing things to say. And unfortunately, when it came to the editing process, we realized that there's just no way we can just even include that aspect of it, because if we were to put one person, we'd have to put several people. For each person, we'd have need to have a person to talk about them, and that was just, it would have been a much larger film,
series,
and it would have been a little less kind of concise and focused. So we're going to be definitely putting some interviews of those non-Iranians out there, and the Iranians who are not included in the film, we want to put out there too. Definitely.
Perhaps we can screen those too then when they're ready, right?
Sure, definitely. Yeah.
We are pleasure.
So, Nima, Ali, and Julian, like I myself, I'm an immigrant and non-Iranian, obviously, but I was very impressed watching the film, and I'm sure there are more non-Iranians out there, but Iranians as well, and mostly immigrants who would love to watch this film and access it. So do you know where they can and how they can?
Yeah. For if people know, the whole industry and process of films, when a film first comes out, you kind of have these kind of small screenings for smaller audiences to kind of create some buzz and to kind of get some hype for it, so other people will share with others, and then they'll find they'll ask, where can I watch this? So this is our kind of first preview to the public about the film, and we do have a couple lined up in the next month. There's a Farhang Foundation who has about 500,000 subscribers. They're based in LA. They're going to be having what's kind of like a bigger premiere in early December. So that's coming up, and we'll provide all that information on our social media pages, on our website and stuff, for people who missed this one or want to share with their friends. And there's this event in the city in San Francisco called Shack 15, which is kind of like it's a celebration of it's sponsored by Iranians, all these Iranian nonprofits and organizations, as a celebration for the holidays, and also kind of celebrating Nowruz, which is coming up, which is Iranian New Year. And they'll be screening our film there too. That's going to be on December 10th. It's a small kind of I think 100 people, 150 people. So I'm not sure if everybody can everybody who wants to come can come, but we'll definitely have several screenings lined up where people can join in and watch.
Yes, please do. And you can always share that information with us, and then we can pass it on as well.
Definitely.
Shall we move to the Q&A session? Like maybe give our audience a chance to ask questions?
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
So we have a question, and the person's curious about the title, because I think what they're referring to is they're specifying, saying they're Iranian Americans all over the US, and why did you specifically pick this title and Silicon Valley per se?
Because of well, our main idea was to highlight Iranian Americans all over the US, all the immigrants, but like Nima said, COVID was a really big setback in that dream. So we had to kind of stay back and limited, yeah, focus it to more our network and Silicon Valley, where we don't need to, where we didn't need to air travel or, you know, spread COVID. Spread COVID.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, there's so many Iranian immigrants out there all over, you know, who have done amazing things, and they let us know right away when this film, when we were, you know, kind of showing it to our friends and family. I have family in Indiana and you know, Tennessee, so in the Midwest. I know there's a big presence in these little pockets of Iranian-American communities that are, you know, that are really you know, spreading the same kind of message that we are, individually and as communities, to really, you know, inform people about, you know, what we're doing and who we are. And so we heard a lot of people kind of, you know, tell us, hey, you know, we're out here in these states, you know, on this side of the country, you know, wanting that voice too. And you know, we kind of, you know, wish that you guys would include us in your film. But you know, that's definitely for the next chapter, maybe, or another time. But we just felt that this area here, Bay Area, is just so rich with, you know, the Iranian-American presence, and it was just doing them justice. I think was our main kind of goal, to make sure that we, you know, covered as much ground as we could here, and get as many stories out as possible, and hopefully not offend too many people, you know, that this is just about Silicon Valley, and there can be a documentary made about, you know, Iranians from every area in the country and in the world. So yeah, we hope to do that soon. You know, we hope that we're the ones to do that, but hopefully, you know, other Iranians can step up too, and you know, do that for their communities as well.
Great. So I think, like, it might be fair to assume that, yes, another film is in the making or will be in the making that will cover more success stories of Iranians all across the US.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
I'm positive of it, definitely.
Great. Great. I think that answered one of the questions that just came in. So the next question. So I'll just read the question out. It says, thank you to all the directors for making such a wonderful film. And they would like to know, why did you choose to highlight financial, professional success in the Iranian immigrant story rather than some other measure of success, perhaps humanitarian or otherwise? What is it about professional success that makes us so proud, and why is that the measuring stick?
It's definitely not the measuring stick. You know, we actually, one of the, you know, we had a couple of questions that talked about, you know, their work, every person in the film, their work outside of their fields, philanthropic work, humanitarian work. And, you know, I would say the majority of them are making big impacts and doing, you know, a lot of amazing things to give back. But again, it would kind of take away from the you know, the focus of just, we thought that first and foremost, you know, it was kind of it was necessary to talk about their careers and their life, you know, journeys, and the whole immigration process, you know, from you know, back in Iran to coming here, and, you know, struggling, you know, at the beginning in their careers and really making it. So there's definitely, there wasn't a you know, favoritism there to say that this is the real measurement of success, because we have, you know, people who were students in the film too, who didn't really talk much about their you know, their careers or anything, or what they're studying. But we have artists too who were there, and you know, they were all, you know, kind of in their own, you know, in their own paths, you know, and not everyone has made it to the top yet. So it's definitely, we thought that we should definitely mention these people, because, you know, to Iranians here in Silicon Valley, these people are all, you know, mostly known, but to the rest of the world, not many people know that the CEO of Uber is Iranian, and the guy who started Dropbox is Iranian, and one of the largest real estate companies in the country and in the world, Prologis, is one of the founders was Iranian, and we just thought that first and foremost we have to kind of put that out there so people just know what these people are doing, so that kind of seemed like the right thing to do.
So this next question is actually for Alireza.
Mhm.
So the question is, do you think this movie portrays an accurate picture of Iranian-Americans in general, or is it just a tiny percentage of this vast community?
I would say it's a tiny spectrum of this vast community, but I don't know. Maybe you wanna?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's not accurate portrayal of our community. I mean, as a whole, there, like I said, there's just so many people doing so many amazing things, and not all of them are these very well known, accomplished, successful people. I mean, there's people in every at every stage and every kind of level of their careers and in different kind of professional fields. So we really wanted to we didn't go into culture as much. There's a lot of things we missed, obviously. We didn't talk about Iranian food or Iranian music or arts, for example. We tried to, we got an artist in there, painter, we got a filmmaker in there, but there's just so much out there. There's so many people out there doing so many things. And we really credit them with what they're doing, and we just hope that all these stories can get out eventually, and it's for people who feel like there's not a this wasn't an accurate representation of all of us. I hope that they get the drive to fulfill that and to take it in their own hands and do it, and contact us and talk to us about it and let us know about these people too, and we will help with that also. It's just it's unfortunate that we couldn't please everyone to make them, to make them feel like this really is about me and you and the Iranians around us, but I think that this was a good step, a good start for that.
Great, thank you. So this is a wonderful message actually about the film, and then it's followed with a question. So this person's asking, thank you for the inspiring film. Your familiarity with these subjects came across in the way they responded to questions you put to them. I learned a lot from each of them. What came through strongly was that regardless of their opportunities or lack of them, all your subjects seem to have a healthy dose of self-esteem. It would be wonderful if we could share the film with a larger audience. Is that going to be possible soon?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the plan.
That's the plan.
We want to get this out to as many people who are willing to listen and watch. And I think that if people give the time, because I know Iranian-Americans, a film about Iranian-Americans is not gonna, ring any bells for some people. They're gonna say, why would I, take the time to watch this? But if they do, I think they will learn something, and something that they didn't know before, and I think that that's becoming apparent with a lot of the feedback that we're getting from people. They're really getting behind this and seeing, the organic kind of way it was made. I think it was very, very focused on just personal stories, and there was no kind of angle to it or agenda. We didn't really get into politics. We didn't take sides on anything. We just kind of had these people tell their stories as they were, and I think there's that kind of element of truth really kind of sets this aside from what you would expect that would come from Iranians, because a lot of people know about Iranians and they know what they're doing, and they kind of, they expect that we have kind of a grudge or something, that we demand to be heard, and you must, kind of listen to us and see all this. But it's really just about, we're people just like everybody else. And you know, we came here with the same dreams and aspirations. And you know, things weren't easy, you know, like many immigrants. And we still persisted with that self-esteem, with that, you know, confidence that comes from our culture, really. Just you know, pride in our culture and just adaptation. You know, I think that's a big thing for any immigrant who comes to America, the willingness to adapt, and to keep, you know, your heritage and keep true to who you are and where you came from as well, is very big. Yeah.
Agreed. So the next question is, they're asking, was it a conscious decision to focus mostly on first-generation immigrants as opposed to second-generation ones? If so, could you elaborate?
I believe we had a mixture of both first generation and second generation. It was just the first generation immigrants that came here. Those are the ones who initiated and like they took initiative to get to where they want to. And that's what we displayed. But like, as we said, we interviewed about 30 to 40 people, and we only have a limited time to include everyone in the documentary. So we mostly focused on the first generation since they were closer to Iran and coming, immigrating from Iran to the United States.
Yeah, I think, is there something you wanted to say? I think that we kind of, you know, to keep the film kind of, to gel it together and to focus it, we needed kind of a context, historical context. You know, so the film starts with, you know, history of Iranian civilization and culture, going up to their relationship with America, you know, about a couple hundred years ago, and kind of gradually, you know, stepped up the ladder to, you know, present time, you know. And we did interview some second generation Iranians. Some of the people who spoke at the end, the students, they were second generation Iranian-Americans. And yeah, it was tough to fit everything in. We have interviews from people, but it just, you know, it was tough to fit everything in. Yeah. And we felt that these people's stories, we couldn't, you know, cut them short, or you know, we had to do them justice. And really, you know, it was hard enough to cut down their 1 or 2 hour interviews into a few minutes. So we had to, you know, keep what we did, and you know, tell those stories of the people who came here from Iran, the first generation.
Great, thank you. So this other question, the person is actually applauding and saying, a wonderful documentary which resonated with me in so many ways. I'm wondering, what was your favorite part of this 3-year endeavor? Tough one.
I would say it was a journey. It was really fun. I would say connecting with the team and interviewing, going out to interviews. Yeah, I would say the interviews were the best part. And then it came editing and just collaborating together and like putting it all together. So it was I would say the whole journey was really interesting. Really interesting. Yeah, and I enjoyed every part of it.
It clearly shows on your faces.
Yeah.
So this other question, you know, similar to the one before, but they are wondering, like, let's say post-COVID, like, you know, once things normalize, would you be interested in visiting Iran and telling these stories, sharing it there, screening it there?
That was the main goal in making this. And like I said, you know, to try to not make it political, not make anybody kind of see this, you know, as a, you know, as a bad thing. You know, we wanted to make this film, you know, appealing to everybody, and definitely to the Iranian people as well. We think that there's no reason that they wouldn't show this film, because it's just such a, you know, great, you know, portrayal of what the people have done from there, who have come here. And it's a great, inspiring message to all the people who are there, who wish to immigrate, you know, abroad, even, you know, people who stay in the country, to just have that kind of that drive and that determination that they can do whatever they want. That was very, very important to us, to make this film, seen by everybody, and not have any kind of limitations to that. Yeah.
So this other question here, first of all, they applaud you again for making a wonderful documentary. And then this person says, since you've now had experience making this documentary, would you have any kind of advice towards Iranian-American communities and individuals to lean in and change the stigma that exists in America?
Yeah, I think that, going back to what caused me to make this film, I feel like, growing up, I think I speak for a lot of Iranians that we always kind of felt it was our responsibility to promote ourselves, and to put ourselves in a good light, because we just weren't seeing it around us, and that was just the way it was, and we didn't really take it as a bitter kind of thing, we didn't sulk about it, but we instead kind of turned it around and made it our job to let people know what we're doing and who we are, and kind of just let our own actions and our own kind of, just behavior and, everything that we do show for itself, what our heritage and what our people are doing and are capable of. And yeah, I think that, we need to, there's so many pockets of communities, and the key word is pockets, is that we are doing all these things kind of individually and as these little groups all around the country, all around the world. And we need some kind of a, some organization, just to get together and have a voice and, create stuff like this. I mean, art speaks volumes, film, everything, music, all these things really help, but I think it needs kind of a centralized kind of, established voice that, some representation in whether it's politics or just kind of something that's more abroad than just local, people and communities kind of doing this for themselves, but kind of all of us banding together and trying to find a way to, get all the information out there about Iranians to everybody out there, whatever's going on in these small cities and stuff. It needs a platform, to be able to voice this and show this to everybody who's willing to listen. So I think that's a big thing, is that we've done so much as individuals and as communities, but we still have yet to kind of go to the next level and really kind of create like a legitimate kind of representation that people will finally look at us and say, hey, like, they're on the map. This is, they've established themselves, they deserve it, it's about time that they're here and heard by people. That's what we wish for. And we're all doing our part, but I think we need to find something, some way to kind of band together and speak as one, yeah. And
this film is a platform, right? So
absolutely, it's a step,
Yep. Yes. There's this question where this person's asking, how do Iranians in Silicon Valley and in USA relate to indigenous Americans and African Americans in sharing knowledge and experiences?
That's a great question. I think that, everyone's experience is different, and coming from the aspect of kind of, that we were discriminated, I guess you can say, like it wasn't easy for us, there was a lot of obstacles along the way, kind of these things that were already implanted in the US culture. And we're not saying this as the general consensus. Like, the people, have always made the difference, individuals that really get to know all of us for who we are. Those people are the ones who really, kept us going and changed perspectives and are, continuously changing, people's points of view of Iranians and about, all types of people from all different backgrounds. But I think that we kind of, been there as far as you know, receiving kind of discrimination. You know, not me personally. I mean, here in Silicon Valley, it's a very diverse environment, so I didn't personally experience that very much. And you know, even in you know, my family in the Midwest or places, you know, they were all accepted and welcomed, you know, and it was jaw-dropping to see, you know, like how little discrimination there was, you know. So I think that we are, you know, in a way, we relate to them because we all feel like we have to prove something, you know, and it's not something that we were given a fair shot from the start, you know, because it was just something, this chip on our shoulder that we, as you know, as kids, you know, you're kind of born with this, you know, this pride and this, you know, inherent kind of sense of, you know, pride for your heritage. And when you get older and you know, become, you know, exposed to what's going on out there, what's being said, what's in the news, all these things, you start to see that you know, what you think about your own culture is not necessarily what other people think of, you know, and see you as. So we all feel like we have this kind of obligation to just show through our actions and our words, and just constantly kind of just prove people wrong, and not for them to do it, but for ourselves to kind of you know, feel like we're doing something to kind of just progress forward and to push that kind of envelope, you know, to tell people that you know, what you see is not, you know, what defines us. You know, we're all you know, here to be a part of society and to contribute and to, you know, just be the best we can be.
So this other question, they're asking, you know, is there a view of America that can be reflected in the Iranian diaspora experience?
Could you repeat the question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the person's asking, is there a view of America, like, so based on the documentary, right, like all the interviews you conducted, is there a view of America that can be reflected in the Iranian diaspora?
So.
Yeah, I think that you know, I think the overall message in the film and the theme that people get after watching the film really just it goes back to you know, just open borders, open immigration, open society, and that's how, you know, a lot of these people, all of these people, viewed America as when they were coming, because it was you know, until they came here that they realized that, you know, America has its, you know, it's not perfect, it's not all, you know, the you know, what it's not all just an easy kind of road, and there are kind of obstacles in the way, but there's just that underlying feeling that this is the most accepting and open and just opportune place for anybody in the world to be, the most diverse place in the world. And I think that's the kind of the view that a lot of people have, you know, about America. And, you know, no matter what is kind of said about our countries or whatever, we never lose sight of that. We always know that we have a chance, no matter what the obstacles.
So I think you covered this earlier, but you know, this seems like a popular question here, so I'm just going to pose it. How did the three directors come together and come up with the whole idea for the film, and how long did it take them to make the film from the idea of its conception till the end project?
I think it took about 3.5 years to complete the project. The main idea came from Nima, and then I got a call from Nima, and me and Ali started working together. We all worked as a team, and we started interviewing the first interviewee, and then it just like started rolling from there. Yeah, and then we had like 30 interviews almost. 30 to 40 interviews, because most of the interviewees that we interviewed, we also interviewed their co-workers, their co-founders, and everyone who's like related to them who could testify for what they said. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Let me see, questions are coming in. Actually, there's actually a comment. So this person said they're actually running a nonprofit organization where they help support a lot of immigrants from all over the world. And what they're saying is that this documentary is, even though it's for it's about Iranian-American immigrants, right? But what she's saying is that this is something that all immigrants should watch. It's very inspiring, and she sort of applauds you for doing it, making it, and also encourages you to distribute it as widely as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great support. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Okay. So let's see one more question. So this maybe this will be our last question, and then we can conclude with this.
Sure.
So have you ever thought about how to find a larger audience among Americans? Because most academia or a special group of Iranian Americans watch these kind of films. These can raise awareness in Americans if we can disseminate them in a wider population of Americans.
Yeah, it's a tough battle to get this thing out to the general population. It basically the film has to speak for itself and really resonate with enough people, and that could start anywhere. But I think that Iranians, hopefully, if they like the film and want to promote it out there, word of mouth is the most important way to do that. And once the buzz hopefully gets out there, I think enough people will hear about it and want to show it and get the word out. And I think that's it's our job to kind of also do our due diligence and to go out and to promote this thing and to go to distributors and academia also, because it's an educational documentary. I think, and a lot of people, can use this in institutions and communities all over, just about immigration and about, just success stories and Middle Eastern cultures and stuff like that. So I think that it's basically it's going to be a lot of just go-getting, and trying to get people to listen. That's the big thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best, and we hope the screenings happen all across the world. And thanks once again, Nima, Ali, and Julian for joining us for this wonderful discussion. The film was not only just I think it, like you said, it's inspiring, but it's informative, educational, and also aspiring. And I'm hoping as many people out there can watch it and then promote it and share it from one immigrant to another. It's a film worth watching. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. That means so much to us, and all the support we've gotten, all the people who watched and shared with friends. We really appreciate it. Not just Iranian people, but non-Iranians. For all of the people who gave shots to not just these people, but all immigrants out there in the world. You are the ones who are keeping this alive, and it's our job as people to keep spreading good, positive messages about our people, and just creating a dialogue. That's the first step, is to create a dialogue about this and get people talking about it and get them informed about it. That's the main objective, I think. And we really appreciate everybody out there, and we hope you guys share this with your friends and family, and we get this film seen by as many people as possible.
Thank you so much. And to conclude with, I'd like to thank our audience as well. To everyone there, thank you so much for your continued interest and support for the Iranian Studies program. And we hope to see you winter quarter with a whole array of new events. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.